Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video and another one in this series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full discography of David Bowie. And we have arrived at 1987 with this album, Never Let Me Down. Now, a lot of people say this is Bowie's worst album, and I'm going to disagree. But before I start my argument, first of all, let me say I do know this is not amongst his best albums. It's not amongst the mid category. It is among the lowest ones. But is it his worst? The thing is, my opinion might be a little bit fuzzy in this regard. Because there is this element in which when you start collecting records and you can buy one record a month, that record will get a lot more spins. Same thing happened to me with Never Let Me Down. This was the first studio album of David Bowie that I bought. I was 14 years old. I did not know what I was buying. I believe I bought it for 60 or 70 cent, euro cent, which is nothing, basically nothing. I did have the best of Bowie. So when I started listening to vinyl, and I didn't listen to a lot of vinyl back then, I had this DVD, The Best of Bowie, which was my first big introduction to Bowie, or the thing I put on to listen to him. The initial introduction was Christiane F. Kinder van Bahnhof. So then I bought that DVD box. I bought the reality tour show on DVD. So I was mostly visually listening to Bowie. But I couldn't leave the vinyls aside. So I'd be playing vinyl records when I was playing video games behind the computer because there was the only vinyl player in the house. And I bought the records if I could find them, but they were very hard to find in those days where I was living in the countryside. So this was the first studio album of Bowie I found and bought. And I was praying that one day I would find Ziggy Stardust on vinyl. But I did not. In that countryside, I just could not find a vinyl copy of Ziggy Stardust. So after playing the best of Bowie vinyl, I put this one on, realizing it did not have any of the big hits, but just the amount of spins I gave it, this exact copy, gave me a different insight into Bowie. And now going through his body of work in chronological order, I still think this is better than Tonight. This is definitely better than Tonight. Now, the album Tonight has some spectacular songs. Loving the Alien, for example. The song Tonight's a spectacular song. That version is not per se so good. This record, however, opening with Day In, Day Out, I think that's a catchy 80s tune. Day in, pop, 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 day out, day. I mean, there's something groovy. I think there's something groovy in the song. Then Time Will Crawl. That's got a good beat to it. It's got a good driving force. I like the beat of your drum. It's a bit tacky, but I like it. Then the song Never Let Me Down. I think that's a good ballad. Zeros as a song is not not fully grown. And then side B, yeah, side B is for me where it really goes down. Glass Spider, starting with the long monologue about the glass spider leaving her children behind, and then you get the song "Mommy Come Back 'Cause the water's all gone." Uh, you can sense that Bowie was trying to incorporate the musical element that he was looking after, or musical theater element. But that story of the glass spider, especially in this context of the Never Let Me Down album, it doesn't work. Shining Star, New York's in Love is a bit uninspired. 87 and Cry Too Dizzy. Bang Bang. Bang Bang is not a banger. But side one has some good 80s singles. Though they are unrecognized. And later on, Bowie agreed with himself, or he, well, after this, after the tour of the Glass Spider tour, the tour to support this album, he said that at a certain moment he looked into the audience and he thought, why you guys are looking like you ought to be seeing Phil Collins. Um, and then he says, oh, wait a second, I sound like Phil Collins. Well, you looked like Phil Collins back then. I mean, that show is just very kitschy, very 80s. And I'm going to review the live recording of that because it's been released. Um, and later on, just before he died, Bowie looked back on this period as his 80s phase. But also, he did start something new. He started um, remixing and re-recording instruments from this album because he believed that the songs were stronger than the production allowed them to be. And I think he's right. And I'm gonna review that version of the album because he could not finish it, but his collaborator did finish it, and it's in the David Bowie box about the 80s box. So I'm gonna review that because there is something happening on this album that is unrecognized. But for now, Never Let Me Down, yeah, I don't think it's his worst 80s album. It's his second to worst 80s album. But even that has some strong songs and a strong side one. So I'm curious, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.